Chapter 1 Ongoing Luck. The weather was overcast, as if it was about to snow. But instead, a half-frozen drizzle kept falling steadily. Even so, for Cheom-ji, a lecture followed in Dong's Moon. It was a rare stroke of good luck. He had already taken Madame, who was going to Dong's Moon, to her destination and was waiting at the stop to see if there were any customer. He gave each person at the station an almost begging look, searching for someone who could use a rickshaw, and finally he was able to drive a gentleman who seemed like a teacher to Dongguan School. 31 for the first customer and 41 for the second customer, which was decent for the start of the business. Actually, Cheom-ji was so overjoyed that he almost shed tears when customers dropped shine 10-won coins into his palm. Coins he hadn't seen in nearly 10 days. Moreover, on this day, the 81 he earned was especially valuable to him. It was enough money to not only cool his dry throat with a refreshing cup of makgeolli, but also buy a bowl of solongtang for his sick wife. His wife had been suffering from a cough for a little over a month, and he was someone who believed that taking medicine would only make the disease return easily. He had never taken his wife to see a doctor, so it was impossible to know what kind of illness it was. However, it seemed serious, as she was unable to get up and could only lie on her side. So he thought it was because of an indigestion after eating sorghum rice 10 days ago. Not long ago, he made some money and bought about 1.5 kilograms of sorghum and 10 won worth of firewood. He thought that the precious sorghum he had bought for the first time in a long time. She put the sorghum in water and boiled without soaking in first. Hastily. She seemed so hungry that she frantically ate the sorghum rice with her bare hands without even using a spoon. That evening, she complained of severe pain in her chest and abdomen and could barely keep her eyes open. Cheom-ji said angrily to her, who was struggling, saying her stomach hurt so much. Huh? This unlucky woman. Are you in pain whether you eat or not? What am I supposed to do? Huh? Why can't you open your eyes right away? Then he slapped the sick wife hard. After that, she could open her eyes right away, but tears were welled up in her eyes. And Cheom-ji also had tears in his heart. Despite that she had been telling her husband she wanted to drink solongtang since days ago. Oh my gosh, you couldn't even properly digest sorghum rice, and now you're gonna make yourself worse by eating solongtang? He scolded her, but it didn't feel good about not being able to buy that with no money. But we can buy solongtang. We can also buy porridge for a 3-year-old son who is hungry next to his sick mother. Cheom-ji's heart was warmed with his 81 in his hand. However, his luck did not stop there. It was time to walk out the door of the school, wiping the sweat and rain with a neck towel, Rickshaw! A voice called out from behind him. Cheom-ji thought that the person who called him and stopped was a student at the school. How much does it cost to get to the Namsan station? He asked. Perhaps he was staying in the school's dormitory and was going to spend the school vacation at home. It seems he made up his mind to go home today, but he must have been agonizing what to do, 'cause it was raining. He had to carry his luggage. When he saw Cheom-ji passing by at the right time, he ran out. It proves he was dragging his shoes without wearing them properly, and although it wasn't an expensive suit, he rushed out in the rain. Are you talking about the Namsan station? Then the Cheom-ji hesitated for a moment. He couldn't see the reason for his hesitation. Didn't you not want to go through the distance without a raincoat in all these rains? Was he satisfied with the money he had already earned? Maybe that wasn't. He might have been a little scared by the constant luck, and his wife's request to leave the house bothered him. When Madame, who lives in the front of his house, came to call on him for a rickshaw, the sick wife put a desperate look on a bony face, saying this: "Please don't go out today. Stay by my side. I'm in so much pain. Please don't leave me." She begged her husband with a barely audible sound in her throat. But Cheom-ji looked at her insignificantly and said, "You're a dog. You are saying silly things. Who's going to feed you if I'm at home?" As he prepared to leave, she shook her arm as if to hold him. "Even if you don't go out, then come in early." A weak voice followed. At the moment, he was told to go to the stop. It recalled his wife, who had the twitching hands, exceptionally big eyes, and a face that seemed to cry right away. "Yeah, how much do I have to give you to drive me to Namsan station?" Seeing the nervous look on the student's face, the rickshaw puller sensed his concern. The student murmured to himself, "The car to Incheon is at 11 o'clock, and then at 2 o'clock. Just give me 150 won. He was surprised at himself, and a huge amount of money slipped out of his mouth. How long has it been since he asked for such amount all at once? When the opportunity to make money came to him, his worries about his wife at home suddenly faded. Could anything really happen today? He thought that no matter what happened, he couldn't afford to miss out on this luck, which was several times greater than his usual fortune. 151 is too much. The student spoke in doubt. It's not a lot. It's more than 15 miles from here. And you have to Gaebyeok some more in this inclement weather. Cheom-ji's face, smiling round and round, was full of joy that could not be hidden. "Okay, deal. I'll give you as much as you want. So you must hurry." The generous young customer laughed such a comment and went to get dressed and packed. The Cheom-ji's legs were strangely light. Rather than running, it was almost like flying. The wheels spun so fast that it felt like skates gliding across a nice rink. It was also slippery because of the rain on the ground. Chapter 2. An increasingly heavy heart. Finally, he felt his legs getting heavier and heavier. It was because he was nearing his own home. Worry for the sick weighted heavily on his heart. Please don't go out today. I'm sick like this. And the sick person's stiffly sunken eyes appeared to be looking at him with resentment, and the wailing of Gaton, crying as if about to choke, seemed to echo in his ears. What's wrong with you? At this rate, we are gonna miss the train. The customer's anxious cry was barely heard in his ears. At that moment, he realized that he had stopped in the middle of the street with his rickshaw. Yes, I'm sorry, sir. Cheom-ji started running again. As the house gradually moved away from him, the Cheom-ji was able to speed up. His mind became lighter, as if he could forget the worries in his head only by moving his body constantly in order to shake off the worries. When he arrived at the station and received 151 from the customer, he completely forgot that he had run about 4 kilometers through the muddy road in the rain and felt like he had gotten the money for nothing, delighted as though he had suddenly become rich. He bowed several times to a young customer who was young enough to be his son, that he married early, and politely said, "Thank you for using my service. Goodbye, thank you." Then suddenly, the thought of filling the empty rickshaw back in the rain made him feel worried. As the sweat from labor cooled, a chill began to seep into both his hungry stomach and his rain-soaked clothes, making him realize just how hard it was to earn 151. He was trying to leave the station, but he didn't have the energy to take any steps. His whole body was chilling, and it felt like he couldn't get up if he fell on the ground right away. Oh no, how awkward! How long will it take to go back this long way? Why does this rain keep hitting me in the face? He was fuming with anger, grumbling that he were about to snap at someone. Then a brilliant idea popped into his head. Instead of heading back, Guy could circle around this area and might pick up another passenger, he thought. Today had been unusually lucky, so who could guarantee that such fortune wouldn't strike again? He felt as though he could bet that a string of good luck was waiting for him, and he would surely win. However, he could not stand in front of the station because he was scared of the other rickshaw pullers being protective of their area. He had done it several times before, so he immediately stopped the rickshaw between the street and the tramway. And he decided to go around and watch the station. The tram came shortly after, and dozens of passengers poured out to the station. Among them, Cheom-ji's eyes caught sight of a woman who looked like a brazen lady, or perhaps a wayward young student, wearing a handscarf, high-heeled shoes, and even draped in a cape. He slowly approached the woman. "Excuse me, would you like to use a rickshaw?" The woman, all dressed up in style, kept her lips tightly pressed together and didn't even glance at Kim Cheom-ji, as if she hadn't heard it. Kim Cheom-ji looked at her reaction like a begging beggar and asked again. I'll take you to the station at a very cheap price. Where do you want to go? Then he touched his hand on a Japanese-style bag. What are you doing? It bothers me. She scared like a thunderbolt and turned around. Kim Cheom-ji, startled, without realizing it, steps back. At that time, a tram came. The Kim Cheom-ji was aiming for someone with a sense of unease who wanted to ride the tram. As expected, his hunch was correct. There was someone left after the train had departed. Holding a large bag, it looked like he was pushed down by a conductor because of the heavy load on the crowded train. The Kim Cheom-ji stepped to the side and asked, How about you ride a rickshaw? After haggling for a while, we decided to drive him to Insadong for 61. As the rickshaw grew heavier with a passenger, his body strangely felt lighter. But after the passenger got off and the rickshaw lightened, he once again felt his body grow heavy. This time, not just his body, his heart became heavy as well. He couldn't afford to hope for luck anymore, because the image of his home kept flickering before his eyes. His step became unstable enough to seem like a drunken man, and his legs were loosened to the point that the passerby was worried that he might fall. The cloud and rainy sky was dark, and the sun was setting. Only after reaching in front of Changyang-won did he finally catch his breath and slow his steps. His mind strangely eased as it got closer to home, step by step. However, this easing doesn't come from a relief, but from a fear of the terrible misfortune that struck him. He was slow, as if any misfortune were waiting for him. He wanted to hold on to the joy of having made an earning that was almost like a miracle for as long as possible. He looked around and looked around. It seemed as if he was asking anyone to catch him and save him, because he couldn't do anything with his own legs running towards misfortune. Chapter 3. The Joy of Spending Money. Around the time, his friend Chisholm comes out of the street bar. His plump face was lavish, as if he were drunk. His chin and cheeks covered in dark sideburns. Though he had a beard, it was only on the chin, resembling an upside-down cluster of pine needles. Hey, Kim Cheom-ji, I guess you're on the way into your house. You must have made a lot of money. So have a drink. Fatty called out Skinny. Unlike his appearance, his voice was affable. The Kim Cheom-ji was overjoyed to meet his friend here, more than words could express. He was grateful for the benefactor who saved him or something. You seem to have a drink already. You look like you're having fun too. Kim Cheom-ji opened his face and laughed. Hey man, am I the one who won't drink when nothing good has happened? But dear, why are you like a drowning lad? Come on in and dry your wet clothes. Cheom said. The bar was warm and warm. The white steam that pops up every time a pop chef opened the pot lid for a chortang, a grilled nyeobyani, 제육볶음, steamed liver, steamed kidney, bugochon, rice cake, etc. And Cheom-ji suddenly became hungry and couldn't stand it on this mess table of side dishes. He thought it would not be enough to eat all the food there if he could eat as much as he wanted. But he decided to fill his stomach with two inexpensive and large pieces of rice cakes first and ordered a bowl of chortang. When he tasted the food, his stomach emptied even more, and it kept telling him to bring more food. In an instant, a bowl of rice cake and a chortang disappeared into Kim Cheom-ji's stomach. Before he knew it, the first glass of makgeolli was emptied, and the second one, filled to the brim, arrived. As he drank with Cheom, the makgeolli filled his empty stomach, sending a tingling sensation through him, and his entire face flushed with warmth. And then he drank another glass of makgeolli. The Kim Cheom-ji's eyes are already starting to unravel. He filled his mouth with two white rice cakes, which were being baked warm on the grill, and drank another cup. Cheom looked at Kim Cheom-ji as if wondering. Hey, are you drinking again? We've already had 4 glasses each. That's 41 words. Man, are you making a fuss over just 41? I made a lot of money today. I was really lucky. How much did you make? I made 301. A whole 301. Damn it. Where's the drink? It's fine. It's fine. We can drink as much as we want. I made a mountain of money today. This guy is drunk. Stop it. The drunken Kim Cheom-ji, tugging on Cheom's ear, shouted noisily. You fool! Do you think I'll get drunk from this? Drink more! Meanwhile, he scolded the boy, who seemed about 50 and bringing the drinks. You brat! Why aren't you pouring this drink? The waiter smirked and gave Cheom a look as if to say, What's wrong with this guy? The drunkard noticed the waiter's glance and suddenly burst out in anger, shouting, You poor boy! You think I don't have money? He searched his waist and took out a 1 piece and threw it up in front of the clerk. A few coins slipped out of his pocket and fell to the floor. My dear, the money's on the floor. Why are you just dropping it? The friend picks up the money as he says. Kim Cheom-ji opened his eyes wide as if to see where the money was, even while drunk, and suddenly raised his voice as if he didn't like what he was doing, and he shouted into the air. Look, you guys, do you even know how much money I have? You people who hardly have a little money. As he gets the money that Cheom picks up, said. This cost money. This cost money. Shouting loudly. He drew it. The money that hit the wall with a loud noise fell into a boiling pot. Before he knew it, the large balls had vanished into his stomach again. He sucked in the alcohol on his lips and beard, and stroked it with great satisfaction. Flooring again, he cried out. After another drink, the Cheom-ji suddenly chuckles with slapping Cheom-ji's shoulder. The laughter was so loud that all the eyes of the people in the bar were on Cheom-ji. Hey, Cheom, can I tell you a funny story about me? I took my guest to the station today. So, I felt it was a waste to just bring an empty rickshaw back. So, I thought about picking up a customer and coming back at the tram stop. Isn't it hard to tell whether they are a brazen lady or a weird young student there, or what kind of people they are these days? There was a person in the rain with a cape on. When I got closer and asked if she was going to get a rickshaw, she brushed off my hands as I reached for a bag. She said, "Why are you bothering me so much?" It was more like a sound of a night owl. The Cheom-ji made a strange sound like a night owl. Everyone laughed it at the same time. She's like such a fox. Who's eating her? Why are you bothering me? You can't predict what a strange tone she made. The laughter was raised. Before those laughter disappeared, Kim began to whimper. Jisung looked at the drunkard as if bewildered. Hey, just a moment ago, you were laughing and causing a pause, and now you're suddenly crying. What's going on? Cheom-ji drinks a loony nose in a low and said, My wife is dead. What? Your wife died? When? When you ask a man, today. Don't lie. Damn, you crazy. Why am I lying? She's dead. I can't believe I'm drinking while leaving my dead wife at home. I deserve to die. I deserve to die. And Cheom-ji cries out loud. Cheom-ji's mood started to break. I don't know whether you're playing a joke or not. Go home now. He pulled the crying person's arm. After shaking off Cheom-ji's falling hand, the Cheom-ji smashed with teary eyes. Who dies? Then he shouted again. Why does she die? She's alive. And well. She still is well. You've been deceived by me. He collapsed his hands in the shape of a child and laughs. Is this guy really crazy? I heard your wife was sick. Cheom also recommended Cheom-ji to go back, as if he was feeling some anxiety. She's not dead. She's fine. Cheom-ji shouted and spoke with confidence. But at the sound, He tried to believe that she was not dead. Eventually he had another glass of makgeolli with him, which is worth a 10 won. The drizzle continues to fall silently in the inclement weather. Chapter 4. Seolleongdang. Cheom-ji was drunk, but he bought Seolleongdang and arrived home. He couldn't afford to live in a full house of his own, so he managed to rent a small room in the servants' quarters of the landlord's house. And he had to carry water, paying 10 won a month for it. If Cheom-ji hadn't been drunk, his legs would have trembled in the heavy atmosphere when he stepped into the gate. He couldn't hear the coughing. He couldn't even hear a grunt. There is only the ominous sound that breaks this grave silence, the sound of a child's milking. If there is a person who has a sensitive hearing, the sound the child is making is just a sound of sucking, and there is no sound of milk falling into the child's throat. So you might guess that he was sucking empty milk. Perhaps Cheom-ji might have sensed this ominous silence. If not, then why did he shout like that as soon as he entered the gate, unlike his usual behavior? This damn woman! Isn't it only natural to come out when a husband comes home? This is why he was trying to get rid of the terrible anxiety that was lurking in his body. When Kim opened the door abruptly, the nauseating stench, the smell of dust from the fallen straw mat, the stink of unwashed diapers with traces of feces and urine, the odor of clothes layered with feels of all kinds, and the rotten sweat of the sick assaulted the dull senses of Cheom-ji's nose. Entering the room, even before putting Seolleongdang in the corner, the drunkard gave out all the voices and shouted, "This cursed woman! Do you think lying down all day and night is all you have to do? When your husband comes home, you should get up. You wretch!" He kicked the leg of the person lying down with his feet, making this sound. However, it was not human flesh that was kicked, but it felt like a log. At this time, the young son loses his mouth from the mother's milk and cries. He only frowns and makes a crying face, but there is no loud sound. He probably cries all day long, so he didn't even have the strength to cry anymore. Seeing that there was no movement, even after kicking with his foot, the husband rushed to his wife's bedside, grabbed her messy hair that looked like a bird's nest, and shook it. "Hey, say something. Anything. Just say something." "Huh? Look at this. Can't you say a single word? Huh?" "Oh, still no answer? Are you really dead?" As soon as he realized the one lying down had their eyes rolled upward, showing only the whites, he choked up and said, These eyes, these eyes, why can't they look at me and only stare at the ceiling? Huh? At the end of his words, his voice choked up. The tears from his eyes of the living person with the stiff face of the dead person. Suddenly, Cheom-ji mumbled, rubbing his face together with the dead person's face, like crazy. He sat there, sobbing quietly, unable to contain his grief. I bad so long time, but why can't you eat it? Why can't you eat it? Strangely, I was lucky today.